What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're doing the Green Bay Packers record prediction for 2025. And starting off with week 1, they'll be playing at home against the Detroit Lions. And I just talked about this in my last video. I think this is going to be a pretty good game. It's a divisional matchup, so you know these two teams are going to want this win pretty badly. And I do think the Packers are going to lose just because of how good the Lions are as a squad. So because of that, I'm going to say that Packers start off 0-1. And heading to week 2, the Packers will be at home again, this time on Thursday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. And this is a game, I think this will be another game that's really good because you got two teams that made the playoffs last year, two teams that are hoping to make a stride forward. And yeah, it should be fun. I do think the Packers are going to win just because I'm not as high on the Commanders as a lot of other people are. So I think they are a better team than the Commanders at this point in time. So because of that, Packers are going to win this game and go to 1-1. All right, heading to week 3, the Packers are going to be on the road taking on the Cleveland Browns. This will be their first game on the road. But I really don't think that's going to matter. I mean, they're coming off a mini bye week. They're playing against a not great Browns team. So I'm going to say that they win this game pretty easily and improve to 2-1. All right, heading to week 4, the Packers will be on the road taking on the Dallas Cowboys, their second away game in a row. And this used to be the biggest rivalry back in the day, like really big rivalry. But it's kind of flamed out, just because there's really not as much spark as there used to be. And with that being said, I know the Cowboys are going through all the Micah Parsons nonsense, and they might have paid him by the time you see this video, but as I'm making it, he still hasn't signed, which is insane to me, but I do think he will play. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I think it's just a bunch of media nonsense about how he's going to leave. And I actually do think the Cowboys are going to win. I think because they're at home and because the Cowboys actually are coming off of a loss from the Bears the week prior. So I think they're going to be playing pretty mad. So I think because of that, they're going to lose this game, the Packers are, and go to 2-2. All right, and week 5 is their bye week. They're sitting at 2-2, which is not super surprising considering how tough their schedule is to start off the season. But yeah, we'll see how they do for the rest of it. And for week 6, they will be playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. They'll be at home. And as everyone knows, the Bengals have a pretty terrible defense. And I think that the Packers are going to beat the Bengals. I think they're going to take advantage of the fact that their defense is bad. And sure, they have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and all of them. But at the same time, that defense is going to really hold the Bengals back. And I see the Packers stealing one from them and going to 3-2. All right, heading to week 7, the Packers will be on the road taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And I will say, one thing good about the Cardinals, I think they are going in the right direction. That's the good part. The bad part is they are still a rebuilding team going up against a team that is a borderline Super Bowl contender in the Packers. So I think the Packers are going to win this game just because they're the better team, and I trust them more, and I have them winning and going to 4-2. All right, and for week 8, the Packers will be on the road taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is definitely a revenge game. By every definition, Juan, by the way. You've got Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers, who was obviously on the Packers for a very long time. Also, not to mention, if Aaron Rodgers can win this game, that means he will join the elite club of quarterbacks that have beaten every single team. And I mean, obviously, they want to win that game pretty badly, but I do think the Steelers are going to win. I think Aaron Rodgers is actually going to have a pretty good year with the Steelers. And because of that, I think they're going to get one from the Packers, give Aaron Rodgers his 32nd win against an NFL team, and have the Packers drop into 4-3. All right, heading to week 9, the Packers will be at home taking on the Carolina Panthers. And it's kind of similar to what I said about the Cardinals. I mean, to be fair, I do think the Cardinals are better than the Panthers, but at the same time, it's just like I don't trust the Panthers as much as I trust the Packers, especially considering how bad their defense still is. They didn't really improve it. And, I mean, we still have to see if Bryce Young's going to have a good season. I mean, he had a great second half to last year, but it's just a wild card there. The Packers roster is obviously a lot better than the Panthers roster, so I'm going to give the Packers a win here and have them go to 5-3. All right, and heading to Week 10, we got the Packers at home taking on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football, and this one's pretty rough. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, as I'm sure a lot of you know, and they are a very stacked roster, and I don't like the Packers' chances in this game, so I think the Eagles are going to win and drop the Packers down to 5-4. All right, and heading to Week 11, the Packers will be on the road taking on the New York Giants, and I really don't see much of a struggle in this game like this. Jordan Love is experienced enough to be able to handle the Giants' front seven. Not that the Giants' front seven's bad, because they're not. They're pretty good, and it's the biggest strength on their team. And to be honest, I think the Giants will kind of put up a fight because they have a quarterback now. They have Russell Wilson, and I think they've got some good players, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Packers. So I have the Packers winning this game and going to 6-4. All right, and heading to week number 12, they will have the Minnesota Vikings at home. This will be the first matchup against the Vikings, and I definitely could see this game going either way because it's a rivalry game. The Vikings have a first-year quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, so we'll see how he does. But I am going to still go with the Vikings because their roster is unbelievably stacked. They have a great defense, a great offense, assuming J.J. McCarthy's not Anthony Richardson. And I just think the Packers are going to struggle against their division rival this year. So I'm going to say they lose this game and drop down to 6-5. All right, and heading to week 13, the Packers will be playing against the Lions on Thanksgiving because the Lions play every year. And I don't really love the Lions in this game. I think the Packers are going to win, and the reason being is because the Lions, for some reason, always stink it up on Thanksgiving. They've done it for years, and they did win last year, but it took a absolute blunder from the Bears to even do that. So I honestly think the Packers are going to beat the Bears and shock the world and go to 7-5. All right, heading to week 14, the Packers will be at home taking on the Chicago Bears off of their mini bye week. And this is a game the Packers should probably win it. I mean, I could see the Bears stealing it, but I definitely think the Packers are going to win this game just because they're a more talented team. And the Bears, I still don't really trust them to be that good because they always are projected to be good, and they're not. So we'll see about them. But I do think Packers are going to win this game and go to 8-5. All right, and heading to week 15, the Packers will be playing on the road against the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos, they got a really good defense. They've got an offense with a lot of potential. And not to mention, Mile High Stadium's a pretty tough place to play for opposing teams. And because of that, I'm going to say that the Packers drop this game and fall down to 8-6. All right, and heading to week 16, the Packers will be on the road again, taking on the Chicago Bears for the second time. And I actually think the Bears are going to get the better of the Packers here. I think it's going to be a game that the Bears are going to be circled because they obviously hate the Packers. And to tell you the truth, they probably should have swept the Packers last year, but the Packers got extremely lucky. And I think the Bears are going to steal one from the Packers. I think they're going to win and drop the Packers down to 8-7. All right, heading to week 17, the Packers will be at home taking on the Baltimore Ravens. And this is definitely not going to be an easy game for the Packers. And I could definitely see them losing here just because the Ravens are a great team. But at the same time, Lambeau is not an easy place to play. And I think the Packers are actually going to steal one here. I think they're on a 2-game skid. They're kind of reeling right now. I think the Ravens are going to let their guard up a little bit and drop one here. So I'm going to say the Packers win and go to 9-7. And ending their season, the Packers will be on the road taking on the Minnesota Vikings. And this could potentially be for a playoff berth. So this is going to be a very important game for both of these teams. And we'll see who comes out on top. Because to tell you the truth, regardless of what I say, this game could go either way. But I am going to stick with the Vikings just because I do trust their roster a lot more. And to tell you the truth, I honestly trust Kevin O'Connell more than Matt LaFleur. Not that Matt LaFleur is a bad coach, but Kevin O'Connell's a great head coach. And I'm not sure how I feel about Matt LaFleur. He's good, but he's not great. That's my opinion on him. So I say the Packers lose this game and end off their season with a final record of 9-8. And there you have it. You got the NFC North so far, minus the Vikings. So we'll do them either later today or tomorrow. And that'll conclude all the predictions. Having fun doing these. And to tell you the truth, the Packers, 9-8, I know it's probably a little underwhelming for Packers fans, but here's what it comes down to. I feel like this team just doesn't play as good as they should, considering how good their roster is. And I feel like that's going to come back to bite them this year. And we'll see how they do. And 9-8 could get them into the playoffs. It's not a guarantee, though. I mean, they could. We just have to do all the tiebreakers. Once I can do the Vikings prediction, we'll see how everything shapes up, and then we'll do predictions from there. Or not predictions, tiebreakers. And then once we do all the tiebreakers and stuff, we'll do playoff predictions, and then we'll do that, and then we'll probably do like predictions for like MVP, Coach of the Year, Offense Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, things like that. We'll do all that. And yeah, I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace out.